America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Hey, good people, good people, good people, good people. Joined today, my big brother. I call him the bishop, but you know he's not a bishop. He just helped folks out along the way. Call him the bishop because he's always laying hands on people. You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
JC, movie producer, host, does it all. In DC over the weekend, bro. How was it, man?
DC was fantastic. It was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. The last time I was there, actually, on the memorial on the mall there, was during the first Million Man March, which you were there as well. I don't even remember. What are we? 27 years ago now?
Oh God, yeah.
It was a while, and that was the last time that I had an experience like that, and it was just electrifying. It was incredible.
Right. Now, how do you compare this? I mean, you know, you can't compare it to the Million Man March, but how do you compare the energy that was there over the weekend?
Energy was very similar. The energy was very similar because there were so many beautiful people there, all pretty much on one accord. And it was just, it was comparable in that way.
Okay.
Of course, I was much younger when I went to the Million Man March, and so I had a little more energy.
You did. You could walk the whole mile, mall, right?
Like it was nothing. Like it was absolute nothing. So it was reminiscent of that, but also I tried to picture in my being what it must have been like 57 years ago when 250,000 people showed up, and Martin Luther King Jr., among other things that day, delivered his now one of the greatest speeches in the history of the world, I Have a Dream speech.
Right.
So I was right there at the memorial, at the Lincoln Memorial, just kind of going back in time, man, in my head about what that must have been like 57 years ago.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, John. I thought this thing was going to be all virtual. I didn't get the memo, man. And no, you had texted me about going, but then you texted me about December too. So I'm thinking, did you say? I thought you said December. Maybe I read it wrong, man. But so I looked up and saw that, like, really, just really. I mean, it got past me, man. Yeah. So you interviewed a lot of people while you were before your show. You back to being a TV host, back to your baby.
Man, and it feels good. You know, there's a little apprehension because there's been a lot of time that has gone by since I did the Jon Show 22 years ago on the Urban America Network. And so a lot of time has gone by, but I'm really, I think, getting back into the groove of things. You know, I've got a little young super producer. He is 20 years old. My producer is 20 years old. And I tell you, these young people, they don't think in terms of any limits at all. They are fearless. So it's like, let's try it. So you met him. His family's from Haiti.
Haiti, yeah.
You met him in February when we were in Los Angeles.
Okay. Yeah, good brother. So he shot the footage Matter of fact, I think we got some of the clip from your show. We're gonna run a little bit of that clip from the show.
Here today, me and some of my brothers, we actually rode from New York City all the way to DC.
On bicycle.
Yes, on bikes. So we rode from New York City all the way to DC. Not to say, okay, hey, listen, we're here at this march because everybody else is here. Everybody's here for different reasons. You know, me, I'm here because I'm an activist. I'm also a public speaker. I've been doing this for 15 years. And the reason why I'm here is because I want to see these changes being done. I want to see these changes being made. I want to see a whole lot of stuff change with the senators. I want to see a lot of stuff change in Congress. Us as a people, us as a nation needs to come together and ride together as one. We are on the verge of extinction, believe it or not. If police is not taking us out, then we are taking each other out over stupid things, over little things that doesn't even matter. Everybody that's out here that is supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, everybody that is standing with the Black Lives Matter, everybody that is standing with black people, I love them.
Now we came to DC to celebrate my 50th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And how I wanted to spend my 50th birthday was bring all the ladies that I love here to do the March on Washington to commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. That's how I wanted to spend in my half century.
Yes.
Wow, what a commemoration, huh?
Yes.
So what does it feel like, ladies, to have been a part of history? Obviously, none of us were here in 63.
No.
What does it feel like to be a part of history?
Well, for me, it's emotional, but not in a traumatizing way, but an emotional experience because, like you said, none of us were here, but to be a part of it today definitely was a must. And by it being her birthday, she loves us, we love her. That's my reason. So, yeah, it was very nice, very nice.
So what was the response when you called them up and said, listen, ladies, we going to DC for my birthday celebration this year? Did you get any pushback? Did anybody say, what?
No. No.
Everybody, so y'all roll tight then in St. Louis.
We're all ready.
And you got matching shirts.
Yes.
She did that.
She
She
did
designed
that.
these
She
herself.
designed these herself.
And this is our back of our shirts. And she designed the whole thing.
Hey.
I know, she bad.
Hey. She a fly 50-year-old.
Yes.
Hey. Well, so if you could say, either of you, no, let's do everybody. Just one word to describe the experience today.
Amazing.
For me, it was amazingly overwhelming.
Historic.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Wow.
Thank you.
John, you always find yourself around beautiful black women.
Hey, like I said to them.
Shout out to St. Louis.
Like I said to them, hey.
Yeah, shout out to St. Louis.
They are the salt of the earth. Yes.
Yeah.
Sisters.
So, and I know you interviewed a lot of other people. You interviewed someone who was dealing with immigration issues. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, I saw these young Latino kids, and their father wasn't standing there initially, and I saw these young Latino kids with signs, and I said, "What are you doing? Why are you here today? What brought you here?" And these kids just immediately started sharing what brought them there, why they were there, and it was something. And so I interviewed them, and you can see that interview. You can see it on my Facebook wall, Jon Covington, and you can also see it on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that we just launched 2 days ago, Jon Covington as well, no H in John, and you can see that video on there. But the father literally started crying while we were interviewing him, and one of the things that he said that really struck me was he says, "You all were here before we were." And paraphrasing, he felt that they would be foolish to think that they would not be treated the same way as we were, not being from here. So it's really quite an emotional interview that this Latino father did, and he brought his kids, and he said although he knew it was dangerous because of COVID, there was no way that they could sit at home and sit on the couch or go play video games. It was important for him that they be there, and that's the way that he's raising his 3 kids.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and he started
amazing,
crying.
man.
He started
Right.
crying during the interview.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the consensus among people there? What were people saying we are fighting for?
Gosh, there were so many different things. Tomorrow we're rolling out the 3rd show in this series, March on Washington, which the name of the show is What's Good with JC. But there were so many different things going on. And tomorrow we talk to a group of 20-year-old young sisters. They're 20 years old, and you just got to see they are the sharpest, the most articulate. They answer questions, boom, bam. It's phenomenal. But to answer your point, there are people there for different reasons, but it all has to do with justice for all. That is the common thread. Justice for all. Justice for everybody. So that was the common thread. Of course, some people have, I don't know, maybe sub-agendas, if you will.
Okay.
But it's all under the heading of justice for all. And most of the people that we interviewed have that message. Now, we interviewed a guy who you'll see in a couple of days. We interviewed him. He has a program in Minneapolis. And he says in the interview, he's more concerned about his black sons being shot by another black male than he is by the police.
Woo.
So, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't believe in just talking to people who all have the exact same thought process. I love talking to people of all different beliefs. Yeah. And belief systems. And that's what we do in this series, What's Good with JC.
Now, was there any counter protesters?
No,
marchers?
They
Really?
wouldn't have. I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have tried that day. Not that.
No mega
not
hats?
that day.
No mega caps?
I did not see a one. That was not the place to do a counter demonstration or a counter protest. For somebody to do that there, they would have been pretty, not just brave typing with the keys, not just brave on Facebook or the internet, but they would have needed to have really been brave to come do a counter protest with, I know for a fact it was over 100,000 people there.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I want to share this screen, but I want to take a chance of this browser crashing. But you showed me an image. You sent me an image.
Yes.
From the March of 1963. And you sure you wasn't there in 1963, John? Are you confident?
I knew somebody was going to say something because you know I'm up there, and but no, I was not at the march. It's 1963. I was not there.
You showed me the pictures of both marches, man, and the only thing I see different is one is in black and white, and the other's in color.
Right. Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
So I don't know if people will be able to see it, but what I'll do is I'll try to put it up if you're thinking that it might. I'll try to put it up so that people can see. I don't know if
Let me go and definitely. Wow, look at that, family. Look at that. And of course, we're gonna put it up on the screen for the TV show. That's packed.
So the bottom one is 2020, and the top one is 19.
All right, we don't want to see your messages, man. You start seeing emails.
That could be. Yeah.
Wow, man, John. I'm glad you were able to go, and I know some people from Orlando was able to go, and I know you had your posse with you, man, brother. Anything you want to share about what this did for you? You know, you've been in a lot of marches. I seen you. You're on the front page of I don't know, L.A. Times or Washington News, Washington Post.
USA Today,
actor, USA Today,
and some other
actor,
publications.
the Babatunde.
Yes,
Babatunde. Yeah. And so this is nothing new for you. You've been on the front row of the civil rights movement since you've been around.
Yes.
What did it do for you personally?
It encouraged me to keep going. It encouraged me to continue to be a voice for the voiceless. Oftentimes, people feel a certain way, but they don't have an opportunity to express themselves, etc. And those of us who've been given a platform, we have to make sure that we continue to make that accessible to people, whether it be radio, whether it be some form of TV or social media, etc. So it encouraged me to keep going, keep moving, because this is a lot of work. It's not just, you don't just create a show or video, or I mean, I know I'm telling you, and that's like preaching to
okay, but they need to hear it though.
to the choir, but yeah, it's a lot of work, but we do it because this is what we love to do and we're passionate about it. And so when you go to something like that and you see people, you understand that your voice is important because it gives the people access. Yeah. And I say that with humility. And so it's encouraging. You know, it's encouraging. You got to keep going. There's so much else that needs to be done. You know, I thought I was going to be sitting in a rocking chair, not in a rocking chair necessarily, but I really thought over the last couple of years, you know, I was like, you know what, man, you may as well just sit down, chill. I've hopefully helped cultivate some younger talents.
Right.
Like my nephew Darius, and I've got another nephew that I'm going to be working with.
You
my
got
sister,
JR.
Yeah. And so, but I was like, you know what? I'm not done yet. I'm not done just yet. So hopefully we can continue to cultivate them, and then continue to do my own thing.
Right. It's
plus
hard.
I need to make some money.
You're not doing this for the money though. You already made enough money in the industry. I mean, you just collect money off the interest. No, the JC Foundation. Treasure X.
My wife is probably wondering where that foundation is. She's like, where is that
offshore
foundation?
account in the Cayman Islands? Yeah. Treasure X asks, what year anniversary was this for the MLK World? 1963.
57.
Yep.
57.
Yep. What was it?
The 57th.
57. There you go. 57th anniversary for the march on Washington. Now, the night before, 45 had delivered a speech on the lawn in the White House, right?
Yes.
Were you there?
Which is interesting. No. We flew out at 6 a.m. on Friday morning, and we got to D.C. at like 7:30. We flew nonstop. No, I wasn't. And that's a whole nother interesting thing in itself, that the president decided to have a campaign, anything on the lawn of the White House, a house that we as a people pay for. It's not appropriate in my opinion, but maybe with COVID, or maybe, you know, maybe so. But I would say the same thing if Barack Obama, just for the record, you know, I would. If Barack Obama did that, I would say the same thing, that's not appropriate.
Right. Now, traveling, you got 100,000 people. What was it like traveling, man? Everybody got masks on these airplanes. I don't know if you did your private jet this time, but what was this like, man?
Wish I had a private jet, but no, not really. I don't. But it was going out. That's my third time traveling since COVID, and it was cool. Everybody had on masks. Of course, we know that the airplane air is recycled. Like, it's probably better air on an airplane than most places.
Right.
And so that was not an issue. Our hotel, it was obvious it had been sanitized. So people were taking all of the precautions. And so it was just one of those things that if it had been something else, I probably would not have gone. I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm not going, it's COVID, etc. But that was something that I had to be at because primarily because of the significance of it as it relates to MLK.
Now, a lot of black vendors, a lot of black
Oh my
items.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Non-stop. It's just an amazing experience to experience something like that. But yeah, they were everywhere. Food vendors and merchandise vendors, clothing, paraphernalia as it relates to the march. Yeah, it was crazy. It was quite an experience. And I saw a lot of young people there, and a lot of people brought their kids. And that's a beautiful thing for a kid to experience. You know, Bishop Wells talked about some of the significant things, may he rest in peace, that his father exposed him to when he was a kid.
Right.
And it makes a difference. And exposing your kids to things while they're young, exposing them early.
Wow. Was there any calling, during the Million Man March, the minister that encouraged people to, to talk to the congressperson, and advocate for certain laws? Were there any orders given out, and was reparations on? Did that come up?
You know, it may have, but I was so busy interviewing people. I had stuff going on during the march, so I'm not sure if reparations came up. But what I do know is that voting was the primary call to duty. That was primarily the call to duty throughout the march. That was the thing, is to vote in November.
They didn't say who to vote for, though, right?
No. No, they did not. They did not say who to vote for. But I think with reference, you know who they were talking about throughout the speeches, and they did mention the current administration and the president. They did mention him by name. But no, they did not say who to vote for. But one could kind of assume that they were not talking about the current president.
Right. And before we go, I know you in Hollywood. You connected to Hollywood. I know we're supposed to be talking about this march, but I got to get your opinion on Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman passing over the weekend, man. Your thoughts, brother?
You know, I saw him maybe a year ago. I saw Chadwick Boseman maybe a year ago, and the friend that I was with, I said to him, man, Chadwick must be doing some hard drugs. And the guy was like, he's like, what? I was like, man, can't you tell that he's on drugs? I was like, what a shame. What a waste. And I didn't say it necessarily in a judgmental, like I'm some high and mighty guy or anything like that. But I said it in sadness. Like, man, he's such a phenomenal talent. And we've lost so many people to drugs. We lost Michael, and we lost Whitney, and we've lost and the list goes on of people that we've lost due to drugs. And I just thought, man, what a pity. What I didn't know, obviously, was that the brother was sick. Right. So shame on me.
You didn't have to put that out there, John. I know you told me that, but I didn't expect you to put that out there, man. I know you probably feel bad about that now because in Hollywood, drugs is the
common.
norm. It's common. So people that's just trying to say, John, well, why would you assume that? Well, it's
the environment.
Yeah, the environment, and you being a brother who established a group for Black men in Hollywood, the men of color in the industry. And now, was Chad ever part of your group? Did he ever join Mokiti?
He never joined Mokiti, but I've had conversation with Ryan Coogler, whom he was very close to. Of course, Ryan directed the movie, and he directed the first Creed. Another Mokiti brother directed the second Creed, Creed 2. So I knew those guys from that same circle. Chadwick had never been to a meeting that I know of he had never, because some meetings we might have 100 guys there, and of course I wouldn't see them all. I wouldn't have conversation with all of them. But there are lots of guys. Most of the guys who are currently on television and film, etc., of color, most of them have come through a Mokiti function, meeting, something at one point or another. I do not know if he did. I did see him at a screening of 42, though, that we were a part of in large numbers. I think I have a picture of that on social media. I don't know if he's a part of the picture, but I'm going to find that and send it to you. He may be, but I'm not sure if he actually ever attended a meheting.
Hey,
He's
John,
familiar with it, though.
There are some conspiracy theories out there. I don't know if you heard them, that because of his influence and what he have done, that there are people who might have interest in seeing his demise. Is that possible in Hollywood?
Anything is possible in Hollywood. However, I wouldn't put too much credence in that conspiracy theory. According to his family, he'd been sick, and he'd been sick for a while. He was a very private guy. Not even Ryan Coogler knew that he had cancer, and they were partners. They were collaborators, and not even he knew that that he was sick. So he was a very private guy. A lot of folks did not know that he was sick. I talked to two very close friends of his. They didn't know he was sick, and they're just like, "Oh my God, now he's gone." So I don't know. Conspiracy theories come from everywhere, left and right and middle and all that stuff. But I don't know that if I would give it too much, power or thought. But as far as Hollywood, the stuff that goes on there, anything is possible.
That's crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I had a hard time sleeping over the weekend.
What a talent.
That's our brother. I know I never seen him before, man, but that was our brother, and our kids lost a superhero, you know what I mean? And even though the parents are your superhero, we do have these superheroes on television that we look up to, and it was just a tough time, bro. It still is.
Yeah, they say that Michael B. Jordan is really struggling.
I'm sure.
Now. Yeah, he's really struggling. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Michael took over for Chad. Chad was on All My Children. He got fired because he didn't like the character script as it relates to a black man, blah, 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 blah. So they fired him. They hired Michael. Now, they didn't know each other at the time.
Okay.
That Michael was only 16. And so they hired Michael. And, of course, they would end up working together years later. But Michael credits him with helping his career because he got the job. And the only thing that Michael had done prior to that time was The Wire.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's Michael B. Jordan. I don't know if I said who I was speaking about.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man, for your insight and for your passion. And welcome back to television, family. He's on YouTube. What's up, Uncle? You need to put Uncle there, bro. You know what I mean?
What's funny? You know what's funny? I thought about doing a show called Uncle John or Uncle
John, bro.
Because half the world calls me Uncle.
Man, it's you and Uncle Charlie, bro. It's you and Uncle Charlie.
That's hilarious.
And I call him Bishop, and he calls me Pope.
Reverend Pope. I wish I had some of Uncle Charlie's money.
Yeah. But we good, man. It's been good on the Trump years, so we all right. Thank you. Man. Hey, them Democrats gonna hit me up now. Thank you, family. Thank you, brother. Love you, man.
Love you back.
Episodes drop on Tuesday. What's the YouTube channel again?
Jon Covington. But you can go to my YouTube or you can go to my Facebook, and they're both Jon, Jon Covington, Covington. But we'll be dropping stuff on a regular basis. We got a lot of footage from DC. We've got some interesting stuff. We got some really, in my opinion, we got some really interesting stuff.
Show some more of them folks from St. Louis. All right, JC. Love you, brother.
Love you back.
After an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of
latest
Ferguson,
on that police
Missouri.
killing of a black man in Atlanta, Rayshard Brooks. It has happened again. Shot in the back as he fled the scene after officers tried to arrest him.
New developments in 2 high-profile racially charged police shootings. We also know that young black men continue to be fatally shot by police in the United States, and they involve the deaths of 2 black men in separate incidents.
After the killing of a black man by an Atlanta police officer.
A fatal police shooting that...
Grand jury in New York City has refused to indict yet another white police officer said to have killed an unarmed black man.
I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, man.
Bro, you got him down, man. Let him breathe, at least, man.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe shit.
No.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole time, man.
Get on the ground!
One of my homies died. He went back home.
How many more of my family needs to be murdered before enough is enough?
It's never the wrong time to do the right thing.
How many weren't filmed?
We all bleed the same color. All lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
No one is free when others are oppressed.
Get to know me before you hate me.
I'm tired.